Your kids stop learning. That does not mean your kids spend their whole entire summer not on routine, not doing anything, not educating themselves, not keeping themselves fresh, sharp, and prepared. This is why a lot of you have issues when you start back school. This is why I tell y'all that y'all homeschool anyway. When you say, I don't have time, or I don't have the capacity, or I don't know what to teach my child, your child is learning every single day. They're watching you, they're watching your routine, they're paying attention to your behavior patterns. Whether you know it or not, your child is learning. You don't have to talk to your child for them to be picking up your habits. But it's easier to pick up bad habits than it is to pick up good habits. So limit the bad habits. I wouldn't say limit the bad habits. Routine. So kids thrive off routine. So if your kids are used to getting up at 6 in the morning to go to school, or 8 in the morning, or 9 in the morning to go to school, eat breakfast, educate, why not keep that same routine? It sounds like, well, that sounds like military. No, it keeps their routine intact. Now, if you got teenagers, that's different. Teenagers, I don't really bother them, because if you prefer to wake up at 10, that's on you. But keep the routine going. They need to be learning. If they're not learning every single day, if they're not learning something new every single day, and then you put them back in school expecting them to be in the learning mode, you're setting your kids up for failure. Even if it's a book, if they need to read the book and write a project on it, if that's the only thing you have them do throughout, they need to be in mentorships. They don't need to be sitting at home on them games all day. My son is 16 years old. He's very hell-bent on getting his routine, going to the gym, building muscle, playing basketball, hanging out with his friends. Now, those decisions came before, as he was little, I embedded healthy habits in him when he was very young. All my children have very healthy habits. I did not introduce them to Xboxes and iPads, any of that, until after they were like 7 or 8 years old. And that's after their character and personality is already created and embedded in them. So they have healthy habits stronger than they have unhealthy habits. So my 16-year-old son, I don't have to tell him to do anything throughout the summer, because he already got it figured out. He already knows what he's going to do, how productive he's going to be, what he wants for the summer, and the things that he wants to check off his list, such as get a job, go to the gym, build muscle, play basketball. Of course, they're going to come out here with me in Thailand they're coming out here, and then they're going to switch. For the summer, they're going to go with their dad. Their summer is going to be, but me and their dad is going to alternate, because they prefer to live with me. So when you create these healthy habits, you don't have to tell your children, oh, eat your vegetables, they're good for you. If you teach them very early on, we train and control our kids' taste buds, whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not. Your kids are picky eaters because of you. Your kids don't want to eat vegetables because of you. Because your taste buds, when you're born, you don't have a taste palette yet. You create those taste palette within your children. So if your children do not want to eat healthy, it's because of you. It's because whatever you fed them when they were little, candy, cupcakes, ice cream, you fed that to them way too early. My kids didn't get any of those things until their taste palate was well developed enough for me to go ahead and try it out, because I didn't want them addicted to sweets. So you control the taste palettes. And when I say, I don't even like the word control. You lead your household into wherever you want your household to be. So let me see if it's on here. I want to read. There is 7-Day Bible challenge that I had pulled up on my screen. Well, it popped up. I guess it was God trying to send me a message, right? So, it's on this phone. It's on this my damn Bible. I know. Did my daughter do this? My phone. I wanted to read when y'all spare the rod, spoil the child, like that Bible verse that they be trying to read to y'all. They be trying to read to y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to y'all in a minute. Hopefully it's still there, because I don't know how this got deleted out of my phone. How did my Bible get deleted out of my phone? I'm so confused. It's not in my phone. Okay, that's why. It's on my bad, y'all. My bad. I'm tripping. Phonics. I was saying, who didn't delete my Bible? Child, boy, that's Cassie. So, a devotional challenge, right? And I'm going to read it to y'all. I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of the brothers. Parenting, right? 7 things the Bible says about parenting. So, day 1 was point your kids in the right direction. When they're old, they won't be lost. Proverbs 22:6. A lot of people like to say, well, your kids are going to do whatever they want to do. Not if you do what you're supposed to do as a leader. They will not stray. They will have slightly different beliefs, but your kid will not stray. That's a myth. That's BS. That's an excuse for parents not to do their job, for you not to step up and be a leader for your child. So this says, okay, no, as a parent, we have the primary responsibility of building the foundation of a picture of faith for our children every day. Every word, every action, every reaction is a brushstroke. Painting a perfect picture can feel daunting to live out in the day-to-day life of parenting. Whether you are in the middle of sleepless nights with a baby, surviving the challenges of potty training, managing homework and school activities, or turning over the car, parenting is a tough job. We must remember that God doesn't expect us to do this on our own. We love our children more than we ever could. Here are 2 simple ways to point your kids to God, right? And whatever your belief is, your kid needs a spiritual belief, whether you like it or not. If you're an atheist, okay, you have some type of reason or belief why you're an atheist. You need to, your kids, you are your child's influence. If you don't teach them, if you don't give them a spiritual belief, I did not say religious. Religious is a facility where you go and worship with a group of people with the same belief as you. I said spiritual, a spiritual belief. Integrity, morals that keep your child in line when you're not around, so that they can tap into that when you're not around. That's what a spiritual belief is supposed to be. We think in spiritual is witchcraft and all that stuff. Y'all need to get a better understanding of what spiritual is and what it means and how it guides you and leads you down whatever path that God has designed for you, or whoever you believe in, Buddha, Allah, whatever. It takes you, it's a guide for you. It's not for you to sit up here and dictate and manipulate anybody by using this. It's a guide for you, okay? So number 1, pray with your kids, pray with and for your kids every day. To build a foundation of faith for your children, consistent prayer is essential. Prayer with and for your kids every day. Not only does the internet keep acting stupid. Don't allow your, let me pull this up closer. Don't allow your current circumstances to overshadow God's power. Even if your child is currently running away from God, He is always just a prayer away from them. Can change everything. Don't do it alone. They say raising kids takes a village, right? You need people in your life to help you point your kid. You join a small group filled with people you can lean on, and through the seasons of parenting, we need community. It is critical for you and your children to have a strong faith-based relationship. Is essential, y'all. I mean, it's critical if you don't have community. If you don't know how to build community, okay, if you do not have community, if you don't have anybody in your circle that can help you, if you don't have anybody in your circle you can reach out to, you got to start somewhere. But doing this by yourself, only by yourself, is not healthy, it's not productive, and it's not going to help lift the burden off of you. It's too late to get started. Set the trajectory of faith for your children and start pointing them towards God now. Okay, that's day 1. Corrects those He loves, just as Father corrects a child in whom we. When they say spare the rod, spoil the child, do y'all know what that was? Spare the rod, spoil the child. It does not mean whoop your child. That's not what it means. It does not mean hit your child. That's not what that means. Spare the rod, spoils the child mean hitting, not hitting. Don't all speak at once now. Y'all, but I want to see how many people know outside of hitting. On here, none of y'all know what spare the rod, spoil. Okay, it's not so much. A lot of moms have a hard time because a lot of moms, y'all, spare the rod, and then your kid is being spoiled and you try to figure out, I gave him everything he wanted. That's the problem. You gave him everything he asked for, everything he wanted, except consequences, except redirection, except discipline, except leadership, except guidance. But you gave him everything he asked for. He wanted an Xbox, gave it to him. But he went to school and he disrespected an authority figure. You go up there and you defend him. That's sparing the rod, spoil the child. Instead of going up there, getting to the bottom of the story, figuring out where it went wrong, and then telling your child, when you decide to disrespect authority, this is the consequences that happen. What do you want me to do about it? Notice that mothers do, instead of your kids getting RPC'd or having consequences for disrespecting an authority figure because you've let them get away with talking back to you for so long, you go up there and you defend them. You're sparing the rod, spoiling the child. When they're throwing temper tantrums in the store and you give them what they want, you're sparing the rod, you're spoiling the child. 8-year-old, when she wants to spend a night at her friend's house, but you don't have time, you don't have gas, you out of money, you broke, y'all down to y'all last $10, and you ain't got it, but you still do it anyway, knowing you ain't got no gas and you got to go to work tomorrow. You're sparing the rod, you're spoiling the child. The child gets older and doesn't understand your struggle, and you try to force them to, that is your fault. Because spoil the child. That's all you did. For guidance, right? In biblical times, a rod was the shepherd used to guide the sheep, not beat them. It helped them keep them safe, steered them in the right direction, and gently corrected them when they strayed. The rod is a tool for guidance. Influence is guidance. Leadership is guidance. If you don't have influence and you don't have leadership skills, that means your rod, sharpen it. Rod is no good. Your child the way they need to be going, and it won't be able to correct them because the rod that you have has not given them the tools to function without you. We're so focused on my kid has straight A's. My kid is valedictorian. But as soon as they go to college, you try to figure out how the hell did they get addicted to alcohol and addicted to drugs. Conversation was never had. Added self-esteem and leadership skills in your child. Because of a curriculum, the most important thing that matters most is your child's mental well-being, their self-awareness, and their ability to lead themselves. Important. Your child's ability to lead themselves is more important than your child being valedictorian, being a doctor in college, because we know some cocky, arrogant ass doctors. We know some rude nurses. We know some, look at the nurses, y'all, on Instagram. On TikTok. These nurses are recording themselves at work, laws. Because 9 times out of 10, they wasn't taught for decisions. And these decisions are taught early on. People say common sense is common because common sense is taught when you're young. And go to college to be a registered nurse, and the rules and the laws say your phone is not supposed to be on the floor. Your child has so much discipline when they're an adult that rule is nothing to them. They're not pulling out their phone and recording because they're so disciplined and they've been disciplined for years and they understand how to follow rules and they understand that if they break a rule that there's a consequence that comes with that. Your child is not risking their career, livelihood for a comment, performance. Your child's not doing that. I'll read it again. The rod is a tool for guidance. In biblical times, a rod was what shepherds used to guide their sheep, not beat them. Keep them safe, steer them in the right direction, and gently correct them when they strayed. Ready? Because my internet acting stupid. It knows. I know that's right, Angel Baby. Number 2, discipline, sign, and it's crossed out. Physical punishment, right? Discipline, physical punishment, two different things. Means correcting, guiding. That's what discipline means. Guidance, structure, and correction. You risk raising a child with no boundaries. That's why y'all need leadership, because we finna go in, okay? We finna have productive children of society, okay? Discipline to physical. Discipline, teaching, correcting, guiding. Not automatically hitting. Guidance, structure, and correction. You risk raising a child with no boundaries. Okay? It isn't about loving them too much. It's about not correcting them. You spoil not by caring for it. It's the same thing with children. When you spare guidance, when you spare correction, you are risking your child not having boundaries, not being able to identify when they're making mistakes, not being able to identify boundaries, not being able to respect boundaries. This is why y'all who mind other adults' business that ain't got nothing to do with them, that don't impact them or affect them at all. This is why you have adults who don't have good leadership skills. Because their parents spared the rod, which spoiled the child, which created an entitled child, and now that child is out there making decisions that they didn't know that if they made that decision led them down the wrong path. And common sense is common. Common sense is a taught behavior. And if you are not to your thinking skills, how would you ever know? For what they don't know. Especially try to hold children accountable for something you know damn well you ain't taught them. You know you ain't taught your child nothing about accountability, critical thinking solving, how not to make poor decisions, how to be a good leader, because you're not leading them. And say, Samantha followed Bianca into the bad boy's bathroom. Why are you surprised as if you taught Samantha or Bianca leadership skills? Why are you shocked at leadership skills? Do you follow through when you tell them to do something? If you tell your child to clean the room and then they don't, what is the consequence? And I ain't telling you I'm not telling you too many times. After that, go ahead and run me those electronics for 24 hours. And even when you clean your room, you still not getting them. Because a consequence. You should have did that before I had to do that. See, a lot of what y'all do is y'all will tell them to do something and then you will take it from them. And then when they do it, no, that's not how that works. Just because they did it after you took it, you're training them to manipulate. Whether you know it, you're training your child to manipulate. After you tell them they don't get the electronics back. For whatever amount of time you said, typically mine is 24 hours. I typically don't have to go no further than that. Well, my kids are older. I don't have to do punishment no more. That's done with when they turned about 8 years old. I don't have to do it no more. say, hey, I already, yeah, she's 9 years old. So do I have to find myself saying, hey, look, you already know what's up. I'm not even playing them games with you. Yeah, of course, she's a child. Do I find myself doing it with my 16-year-old and my 12-year-old boy? No. They already understand the assignment. I ain't got to worry about my 16-year-old doing something he ain't got no business. I ain't got to worry about my 12-year-old doing something he ain't got no business. They understand consequences, and everything that you do is a reflection of your future. She's getting it already. She's 9 years old. I'm still here to be your guide, your support. Now I'm here to support you, whatever dreams, pursue that. I don't have to parent them in a way that I had to parent them when they were younger. I'm here for moral support. Now I'm their village. Now I'm their resource. The rod equals belt or switch. Think of it like this. Spare the structure, spoil the child. Y'all right? Spare the structure, spoil the child. Spare the correction, spoil the child. The spare is not a weapon that you hit your child with. The spare is a guide. The spare is structure. The spare is correction. The spare teaches boundaries. The spare teaches critical thinking. The spare teach leadership skills. The spare stops you from doing the lazy way of yelling, screaming, and hitting. Respectful with kids. Can we discipline respectful without hitting them? Absolutely. Can you raise respectful kids? Yes. Can you raise disciplined, respectful kids? Yes. Without hitting them? 1,000%. You get a better outcome when you don't have to hit your kids. You get better results when you don't have to hit your kids. You get better patient. You get better leaders when you don't have to hit your kids. All the people turned out fine. No, you didn't. The world was whooped when they was kids. This is not violence. What is for your child? The rod is a guide. It's not violence. Hitting is violence. Spoil the child does not mean hit. Spare the rod, spoil the child means you are a guide for your child. And when you withhold structure, guidance, and correction from your child, you will spoil them. You will create people out there in the world thinking they can do what they want, say what they want, and don't have to follow any type of rules. You will create that. Absolutely. You will create runaways. You will create kids that go to school and don't want to do any work because they don't understand authority. You will create that when you are not giving them structure, correction, and guidance. That is the rod. The rod is not a weapon or a tool that you hit your kids with to get them to obey and control them. That's not what that is. I plan on doing is being more one-on-one with you guys, so it's going to be more community. But if you need me now, just go ahead and DM me and I got you. Hit your child, and hit your child often means you ran out of tools or were given them to begin with. I got to slow down because I be talking too fast. If your child, it often you've ran out of tools or you never had them to begin with. Give yourself some grace. This is why I tell y'all we wasn't taught this. Now, the reason why I was able to navigate and understand this because being a foster child my mom was on drugs for the first 5 years, for the first set, the other half. I don't know. I know when I got older to have a memory, like when I started remembering things, I was around 5 to remember things. My mom was on drugs. I got taken from my mom when I was like 10 years old. But even with her on drugs, she never hit us. She never abused us. She never physically hit us. So I didn't know what hitting was. I didn't even know what that was the first 10 years of my life. I was never hit until I became a foster child and I was adopted. And I started getting hit with like webs and cable cords. I'm like, what the? I didn't feel as a child. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why would this teach me anything? And I'm a kid trying to process, like, I'm doing this because I love you more. And I never did enough I don't think I did anything to get a whooping. Like, okay, so my foster mother, she would take things and not pay for them. And I'm like, you seeing it. I never seen my mom go to the counter and pay for nothing. So my foster mom took me to the store, and I love Bow Wow. I love Bow Wow since I was a little kid. And I saw his CD, and I was like, oh, and I wanted his picture out of it. I didn't want the CD, but I wanted the picture. So I opened the CD in the store and took the picture out. The guy in Walmart came to the front and was like, your daughter has something that belongs to us. And I was looking at him like, this is mine. Like, I saw this, and I got this first. My mom was so mad, but no one taught me that was stealing. So instead of her asking, like, why did you do that? Because she was so embarrassed and all she cared about was herself and how she looked, she took me home and she whooped me with a cable cord. And I was like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, I was mute. Like, what is stealing? I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is stealing? Like, I don't understand what's stealing. My mom was like, don't you ever embarrass me like that ever again. And I'm like, I don't get it all the time. And she was like, your mom did? I said, yeah, my mom went in the store and took things all the time. Like, she never paid for it. She never paid for it. She was like, oh, love, that's stealing. So I didn't know what stealing was until I went to school and asked somebody what stealing was. And I was able to get on the computer and learn about stealing and what are the results when you steal. But the people that were supposed to teach me that didn't teach me that. All they did was beat me and tell me I embarrassed them. So that wasn't helpful. So when you don't have the tools to give your children, you will then result to hitting them because you care about your ego, you care about how you look. They could have just told me that, okay, you're a foster child, so obviously you think it's a good thing. Instead of asking me as a foster child, where did you get that from? I'm not your child, so why wouldn't you ask me that? Child is supposed to know that it's stealing. People cannot be held accountable, especially children, for something that they don't know. Okay. Number one. Number two, you're reacting from frustration, not teaching with intention. This is why I tell y'all to pause before you pause. Come back later before you panic and grab something to whoop your kid, because there's parents that hit their kid the wrong way and their babies did not come back. I used to hyperventilate when my mom used to hit me, and she would think I was being like, my chest used to start hurting. Like I used to hyperventilate really, really bad. And I'm like, damn, like that could have been a moment where I just stopped breathing. You didn't even give a damn because you assumed that I was faking. Because hitting somebody with something like that is, to me, that was extremely painful. Like to the point, I don't even know how I even, the day slaves even made it, because hitting somebody with a tree branch or a cable cord or even a belt, that is so excruciating. Like, I swear you do not love your children if that's how you hitting them. I don't care what, no, that is not love. That is hatred. That is control. That is slavery. There's a deeper disconnect between what you expect and what stands or is capable of doing. Physical punishment. And when we repeat it, it is not because we're bad parents. It's because no one taught us anything different. It actually means at the root, it means you're trying to correct a behavior, but you may not yet have the strategies to do it effectively, consistently, or without fear. It means boundaries and expectations may not be clear or age appropriate, feeling seen or safe, and they're acting out in response. The honest truth, hitting may stop behavior temporarily, but it doesn't. Teaching, build trust, show your child how to do better next time. In fact, it can create fear, shame, confusion, even resentment. Many adults still carry the effects of that. Ask yourself, what am I teaching in this moment and hitting? And is hitting helping or hurting the goal? Yeah. Helping them in the moment. What's the purpose? What's the goal? This is why the AO2 method for me exists. Activity, objective, outcome. What is the activity and why is the activity there, which is the objective? And what is the outcome of that activity? Okay, if you're a parent that believes if my child doesn't do right, my number one go-to to fix this is to whoop them. Okay, what is the objective of that? I want them to listen and be disciplined. Okay, what do you think the outcome will be if you hit them to try to get to your objective? What do you think your outcome will be? And what are the outcomes? If you got 3 kids, how many of those kids are actually going to still follow suit even if they're being hit? Maybe one of them with lack of boundaries. Maybe one of them is going to conform to you, but they're going to grow up and they're going to have lack of boundaries. They might become abusive, or they might date somebody that's abusive because you've taught them that hitting gets your point across. If you hit me like no other choice, try this. Pause. Take a pause. If you're heated, label that was not okay because that hurt mommy. And that is not because you're not supposed to hit people. You throw a toy, so now you lose the toy for the day. If your teenager is talking back and not cleaning up the room because, of course, they're going through their hormones or whatever, simply say, I understand you're going through your changes, love, but I still need that room clean. And if that room is not clean, I'm still taking your iPhone and you're doing a 24-hour lockdown without technology. You can read a book. You could build outside and play, whatever, but you're not getting this technology for 24 hours. So kids thrive on predictable boundaries, not fear. Kids here thrive on being if I 3 times I've told my mom told me to clean up my room And every time I didn't do it when she told me to do it, and she'd take all my electronics, my Xbox and all that, the fourth time she said clean up my room, guess what I'm gonna do? Y'all, time she tell me to clean up my room, I'm gonna get up and go clean my room because I don't have time for her to keep taking my Xbox and keep taking my phones and keep taking things that I actually desire and want to play with. I'm gonna go ahead and get up and clean up that room because 3 times in a row she followed through on the consequence, and even after I cleaned my room, she still kept my stuff. I left her back for 24 hours. That was the longest 24 hours of my life. I didn't communicate with nobody. I had to go outside, play, which is fine. But whatever your kids desire the most is what's going to impact them the most. Now, I don't do it long term because that doesn't help with the consequences. Like if you take their electronics, don't take it, keep it for a week. Because what you're doing is you're conditioning your child to be able to sustain that thing that they like for a long time. You're building their momentum and being able, oh well, she's gonna keep it for a week. Oh well, I'm still not cleaning my room. So then they stay in the room. You got their, I'm gonna keep your electronics until you clean their room. No, if you got their electronics and they still don't clean their room, next step. All right, so the room is not clean. So here's what we finna do. To help pick up trash for 2 days. You lose your electronics and you're gonna go outside and you're gonna help our community clean up trash for 2 days. They get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're out there for 8 hours. You get free night. Since you didn't want to clean up your room because you thought taking your electronics wasn't a big deal, that's fine. So how about I still keep your electronics? You're still going to clean your room and you're going to go outside and help the community for 2 days clean up trash. I bet you're going to clean your room after that. Oh, I got something lined up for you, baby. It's always something. Up and clean that room up. Them. Here's what you have to do now that they're older. 1 rule a week, 1 consequence. Everybody go on the behavior board. It's called a behavior board. The parent, the dad, every child, if they're under the age of 3, they do not go on the behavior board. Every kid, every family member goes on that behavior board. There is 1 rule, 1 consequence. Week. And that longest week of your life, if you ain't used to leadership skills as a parent, that's going to be the longest week of your life. But when I tell you, baby, it's going to be worth it and you ain't got to repeat yourself and yell and scream and holler, you're going to love it. Stop pretending and stop performing. Be exactly who you are. You don't have money for your kids to go out to eat with their friends. Why don't you just tell them that? Discipline your child and your parent. So discipline is not hitting. So when you say discipline, do you mean like guidance, structure, and correction? So if I leave my kids with my mom, I don't micromanage. So if I leave my kids with my mom, that's who care they're in. That's who you need to listen to. Now, my mom know not to hit my children. Anybody around me in my family, in my circle, they know not to hit my kids. I don't play that shit. So you will correct them. They most likely will listen, long as the correction makes sense. What my kids will not do is be maids and slaves to whatever you ask them. If you tell my kids to go clean up your room or go fetch your this or fetch that or fetch this, my kids are not doing too much of that. They might go get it the first time, but anything after that, they're not doing it. And I respectfully, that's boundaries that I taught my kids. They're not your fucking butlers. Get up and go get your own stuff. They might go get it done, but my kids not doing it too many other times. So when you discipline my kids, you better be disciplined based off something they did, not based off something you wanted them to do for you, and you called it disrespect. We ain't doing that. Nope, we ain't doing that. To my family, my friends, and anybody in my circle is very clear. The only time you discipline my children if it's a direct behavior of what they did, not because you asked them to do something for you because you was too lazy to do it. That's not what we're doing. When you say when they discipline too, I probably need you to elaborate on that. Now, if my kids like hitting them, no. Then she's not disciplining them. She's going against your parenting authority. You won't see my kids. If you live with mom, okay, then that might be a struggle, but she needs a conversation. So I will literally pull my mom to the side or take my kids, like maybe drop them off somewhere. And me and my mom will have a conversation. I will tell her flat out to her face, eye contact to eye contact. What we're not going to do is go against my parenting. You've raised me. You did your job. You are their grandmother, not their mother. So if I tell my child to do something, I expect them to do it. The moment you come behind and tell my child to do something else, you are making it difficult for me to parent. And if you are not helping my parenting, you are hurting my parenting. And with that being said, I don't mind my kids not seeing you. If you're not helping me, you're hurting me. Anybody that's hurting me, I do not want in my circle. I don't give a damn if you my mama, my grandma, my uncle, I don't care who you are. Those are my children. Those kids are a product of me. And when I take them out in public, they are my reflection, not yours. So if I tell my children to do something and you come behind me and say something else, me and you going to have a problem. And if I got to check you in front of my children after this, I will. It's up to you. Call it what you want. I'm a grown-ass woman with children. You will not disrespect more complicated than it needs to be. If I got my kids on a routine and you try to go against it, we will have a problem. Sweetie, agreed, Chrissy. Yeah, set those boundaries. Have a conversation. You will not go against my authority. I'm a grown woman with children. That's your problem. But don't come over here project that. We got to deal with that already in the public schools. The kids not to listen to their parents. Oh, your parents don't know what they're talking about. They already got to deal with that. Now my baby's got to come home and listen to their grandma, who is my mother, who a certain amount of influence over my children because you are their grandmother. Go against my parenting, girl, I will cut you. You will not see my kids for a month. We'll start with a week. See how you do. All right, we'll see you next week. We always see each other 2 times a week. We not a week no more. I'll see you next week. Have a you. Try to think about your boundaries next time. After that, yeah, you are a child. You're acting like a child. You're standing up for yourself, but listen, y'all. I am going to be preschool community a lot. I know it's nighttime where y'all at, so I'm going to go ahead and let y'all get ready for bed, do y'all nighttime routine. Hopefully y'all got a face routine. If you do not, it is okay. Go wash your face, go brush your teeth, go say an affirmation to yourself. You deserve it. Be on YouTube from now on. If you're not on my YouTube channel, it's Chrissy Homeschooling. I will take my lives and I will start posting them to my YouTube channel, so that's where y'all can replay anything, right? So I'm going to leave y'all with an affirmation, okay? I am learning to parent with wisdom, not wound. I choose guidance over fear, and I lead my children with love, structure, and intention. My growth is their foundation, okay? So if you're not in the community, we start classes the first Sunday of June. We meet every week. I will be getting around to doing one-on-ones with you guys in the membership so that we can get you guys routine, schedules, setting boundaries, teaching your children to be productive members of society. And even if Brave Boss, even if your grandparents, even if your parents do start to say certain things to your kids, you want to be your kids need to be so influenced by you to the point where they like, my mama said I can't do that, so I'm not doing that. Now, if your kids say, my mom said that I can't have that, and your mom goes to put her hands on them, your kids need to be able to come tell you that, and you need to go ahead and take care of that. You need to make sure your kids know that you got their back at all times, okay? Y'all have an amazing night. It's my morning. I'm going to go ahead and just get some stuff done. Love y'all. Hopefully see y'all in the membership. It's $25 for the first 30 people. Go ahead and join today. I cannot wait to start building this curriculum with you. Curriculum, y'all, but it's a lifetime curriculum, okay? I love y'all. Have a good day. I appreciate you too, y'all. Stay blessed. See y'all next time.